Good morning. Welcome back to Let's Have the Conversation here live on my Liberation Education Substack. Today is day 4 of our 100 days of community, and we are going to be discussing understanding the 15 pillars of supremacy culture. If you've been here with me the last few days, look at you guys all here so early. Hello. If you've been here with me for the past couple of days or you followed me over the years, you will know that the foundation of my work are these 15 pillars of supremacy culture. I am trying to see if, Amy, you're here. If I send you this on text, will you pop it in the messenger so they can download those 15 pillars? Good morning, Lisa. I'm happy to see you. You know what I mean? So today we're going to be discussing those 15 pillars of supremacy culture, which are the foundation of my work, right? So the reason why they're so important is because it's literally, think of pillars, right? Like that hold up, think of like the Colosseums or those really strong pillars on something that are the foundation and what holds it all together. When we could recognize them, it is easier to dismantle, right? It's also easier, and this is why I really like it. It's also easier to not make it personal, right? Like these are systems of oppression, and we have to not make it personal. When certain thoughts come up, sometimes like in workshops, I will do like an exercise and it's uncomfortable. And I'm like, when I say the name Maria, what do you think? Quickly now, right? Something comes to mind. If I say Becky, if I say, Laquita, like something comes to mind. And these are those unconscious bias that live in our bodies all the time. And they are held up by these pillars. So when we can recognize them, when they come up, you sit down and you're like, oh, okay, I'm aware of that. And I can be actionable about it. Give me 2 seconds while I send this to Amy. I have an ebook that is Pay What You Can. It comes with the infographic, prompts, all of that stuff, and explains all of the 15 pillars of supremacy culture. And I am sending that to Amy so she can put it here in their message area. You're so awesome, Ames. All right, here's the ebook link. That was quick. God, I need you. That's my admin all the time. Okay, so as always, we do 3 points to take away, right? So, 15 pillars of supremacy culture reveal how oppression operates. That's simple. It reveals how it operates. 2, supremacy culture impacts everyone differently and no one escapes harm, right? So, like I told you before, so while white supremacy is something that impacts Black and Indigenous bodies, especially here in this land, but also globally, when you're talking about cis supremacy or Christian supremacy, ableism, childism, all of these other hierarchies go into play. So, no one escapes the harm of supremacy culture. Third takeaway today is awareness plus action equals transformation. Again, learning these pillars, understanding how they operate, understanding how they uphold oppression is going to make you more actionable in the ability to have conversations and the ability to dismantle supremacy culture within your own self, body, and mind, and in order to be in and build community, right? So, let's go back to number 1. I'm really enjoying these micro lessons. Are you liking this? Are you liking this? I'm really stoked about it. It's really bringing me joy. So, the 15 pillars of supremacy culture reveal how oppression operates. Supremacy culture isn't random, it's structured. Each pillar, such as perfectionism, fear of open conflict, power hoarding, is designed to maintain control and uphold systems of oppression. Katie says they love it. Me too. I love what I enjoy about my work, right? So, these pillars aren't just about systemic oppression, they shape how we think, how we relate to ourselves, and how we relate to others, as well as how we navigate our everyday interactions. Tiffany says, these are helping me to start my morning off in the right mindset. I love that. Because same, right? Same. I finally got all the kids out the door. Yay me. And I was like, yes, I'm coming back. I'm gonna have my little tea and I'm gonna chat with the folks. And I love this. Like it really brings me so much joy. So thank you guys for being here. And in the midst of this, let me tell you how much you guys bring me joy. my pipe bust in my backyard and flooding my entire backyard. Um, and I think my little cottage is going to shrink. But anyway, sink. But either way, I'm still here with joy. So thank you guys for being here with me. Good morning, Lily. So when you think about that, when you recognize that these 15 pillars are they are operating always in the back, right? And how they impact how we show up for ourselves. Let's use perfectionism and let's use me because I really do like to use myself as an example in things so you can see how you can overcome them. um, for the longest, like this is not perfect, right? Every day gets a little bit better. Like Kay Coughlin, my amazing business coach, uh, says is like you have to do the thing before you can optimize the thing, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm showing up. I don't know how to put links in here. Being live on Substack is new. I realized that I could see myself this way, but when I post it, it really like it has these blank sides and that's kind of ugly, but you can't turn it sideways. So I can sit down and I can be like, oh, I can't do this until they perfect it in a certain way or until it looks a certain way. This isn't great. You know, my hair may not be done. So it's halting your own progress. And then other people, look at you guys. You guys are showing up, you're enjoying it. So other people are also missing out on what you have to offer because you are pressuring yourself to show up and be perfect instead of just showing up. And that's really what matters. Michelle says, thank you for showing up for you and for us to learn and grow. It's amazing because when I do this work, it's like, if you've ever been in church culture and it's like, preaching to you is preaching to myself. Again, right? Like I get up also like, okay, the season of self series is opening me up to think and share more. And I'm very much a transparent person who likes to share their life, who likes to share what's going on. And so you can relate, so we can connect as people. I don't think that I could teach you if you don't feel like I'm relatable. I don't have the desire to be over anybody. I'm like, hey, let's sit down, let's chop it up. And I do a Socratic style of teaching. Lily said, I struggled with this pillar until this last weekend. And listen, Lily, good for you. Good for you. Thank you, Amy. I am the best. I appreciate that. But also just know that it's a lifetime thing, right? I show up as is, right? I go outside as is. This is it. This is my life. Um, but it'll still come up. Right. So I want you to not beat yourself up if it comes back up again. And yesterday we touched on fear of open conflict, and somebody left a comment and I wanted to address it. And they were like, well, how do you have healthy conflict? Well, one, I do have themes for this 100 days. Maybe I should share them with you guys so you know that it's coming up and what to anticipate. And maybe that'll come out today in today's article. But in week 5, I plan on inviting Sunjata. He does amazing work with intentional dialogue, right? And he's here on Substack, Sustainable Solutions. And right now, he's focusing on polyamorous relationships and sharing that part of his life and his journey and guidance. But the way he dialogues, I'm going to, even if we just record something and share it, how to have healthy conflict. We're not going to always agree, right? Like, it's okay. And I'm not a let's agree to disagree person. No, let's just disagree. We don't have to agree about it. I disagree with what you're saying. You disagree with me, and that's fine. Another thing for healthy conflict, I would say, is recognizing that multiple truths exist at the same time. I've shared my eldest child will be 29 July 8th, and we have been estranged, it might be going on 3 years now. When that happened, I was very open about it. And I was like, believe her story because that's true for her. But also believe my story. That's true for me, right? So when you're having that conflict, multiple truths can exist because people are usually coming to a conflict with their own lived experiences, with their desires and outcomes. So you have to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to get curious. Like I said, that's my theme for 2025. Get curious. Why do you think this? Why do you feel this way? Okay, can we have this conversation and not be disrespectful? Can we have this conversation and when I'm no longer comfortable, can we put a pin in it? I touched on that yesterday too. So that's the way to have healthy conflict, because any relationship that has no conflict, like relationships need conflict, right? We kind of stray away from that. Like everything's supposed to be so perfect. And there's a conflict and repair cycle. Part of seeing how healthy any relationship is how well can you repair? Everything is repairable if you're willing to do the work, right? So, how healthy can we break and repair? Remember, I always put the parentheses around the re because it's to do again and pair, right? So, how well can we repair is going to be a mark of how healthy that relationship is and how healthy the conversations can be between you two. Lily says, reminding myself that any action is better than no action, and I get embarrassed. Yes, yes, yes. And I definitely need to learn this skill because I was not taught healthy disagreement. Most of us weren't. Now, I grew up in an Irish household, so there's conflict. Like, and we don't shut the hell up, right? And it's very like, but it's a little bit more volatile than that. But that's a whole other conversation for a whole other time unpacking. But I was never taught to shut the hell up, right? That is a very Western white American woman thing. Even if you've ever experienced ethnic white women or those who are now coded as white, they're not taught to shut the hell up. Like that is a very Western white American patriarchal construct to shut up, be small, even in your own home. When you look at other groups, you will see it's very matriarchal still. They Lily says, I'm Cuban. I was taught to be quiet and pretty. If we could get into that whole thing, Lily, about the assimilation of, Cubans, how that comes about, and we all kind of play into those systems of whiteness. We'll do that another time and unpack it, girl. Okay, text me. Um, but yes, it is it's still a very Americanized thing. And Amy says they never shut up, and I know Amy, and they don't, and I love them. I think that that's why we click. But you do need to learn how to have healthy conflict, right? And be able to walk away from something, especially if you're going to be in community, right? This is how we say we want community and wind up in a cult. Because you don't know how to say, that doesn't make me feel comfortable. No, actually, I don't. I gave an example. I used to have unpacking groups, and I said, okay, so listen, I get some land. We got 4 acres, right? It's my land, and I'm like, come on, because that's my idea, right? I want my own little shanty town. Like, bring your RV, bring your trailers, and we are gonna shanty town this up, right? Okay, my kid is a naked kid, right? Your kid is not. Do you sit down and you say, no naked kids allowed, no naked people allowed, or, only naked people, and leave people not able to have a conversation? No, that is overlording, right? That is what we have currently. That is how we could bring these current systems to the idea of community. So you have to turn around and say, hey, that doesn't make me feel comfortable. I understand that bodies are neutral, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. I have some lived experiences where you with your body out like that, I don't feel comfortable. Can we figure out something? And now that's gonna bother me, right? Because I'm on my land and I want my tits out and gardening. But you know what? Thank you for bringing that to my attention. How about I sunbathe from 7 to 8? You stay on your side, I stay on my side, and we do that. And that is healthy conflict, right? That is not fear of open conflict. That is willing to have conflict. You know that this can be, conflicting feelings, conflicting ideals. What do we do? And how do we do that? And that's how you must be able to do this in order to be in community. Right? See, Lily says naked zones could easily solve that. Right. So, but if you are not willing to confront something to potentially have conflict, right? That fear of open conflict will keep you in freeze mode. And what's worse, will keep you in an unsafe situation. The irony of it is fear of open conflict tells you you are keeping the peace. And the truth of the matter is there's discord and dissonance. When you think of the words like that and it's music and we are vibrational beings, it is constantly disrupting you. So, no, conflict. Hey, your tits out make me feel uncomfortable. What can we do about that collectively? Can we talk about this? And now we have a solution, right? And so now you wind up creating a safeness in your own self. You start trusting yourself. You know what? That didn't feel good. And I spoke, and you learn how to trust other people being in community because that person heard you, they witnessed you, and they found a solution. And that's care for yourself. And then that's community care from the person within community with you because they answered that call, right? Now, somebody could be like, well, fuck this. I'm not doing that. I don't care. Not safe for community, not safe for community. And having those dialogues will make sure that you know who you can actually be in community with or not. What if there's an imbalance of effort to repair the relationship? Katie, I'm gonna say, what is the person's capacity, right? Because you say effort, I'm going to say capacity, and this is how we suss it out, right? Because you may turn around and say, I'm not putting in the same effort because I won't text you 15 times a day. And I'm going to tell you right now, Katie, I'm never going to text you or anybody in this world 15 times a day, even if that's going to make you feel more loved and cared for. We're going to have to find something that works for the both of us. I don't have the capacity to text you 15 times a day. Well, actually, I do. Let's use a better example. I don't have the capacity to call you every day. I hate being on the phone. It is like the bane of my misery. I could text all day long, right? So back to that fear of open conflict because they're not isolated, right? They work in tandem at all times. So what I would say is you and I are in a relationship, Katie, and you say, hey, Des, you don't call me. It makes me feel unseen, unloved, unheard, and I really want this relationship to work. And I'm going to turn around and say, Katie, I love you deeply, and I really want to make sure that you feel seen, loved, heard by me. However, I don't have the capacity to call you. So would a text every morning make you feel that same way, right? Can we find something that is synergistic that works for both of us? Not a compromise, but synergy where we both feel that we're meeting each other to capacity. So I hope that that answers what you're saying, what you asked. Tiffany says, I have such a fear of conflict due to my upbringing, and then I bottle it, and it all festers inside, trying to learn to do that in a healthy way. Yeah, we see it all the time with Karens. Like, back to what I'm saying is like the abuse that happens inside of whiteness then trickles out, right? Like the Karen can't be loud in her house, right? She can't say shit, but she knows she has systemic power outside of it. So she'll go and she's calling the police on Black people watching birds. Like, what? You, I know these people are not barbecuing in this public park. Like, ma'am, take that shit to your husband, okay? Take that energy because you are not conflict avoidant when it comes to people that you have more systemic power over. So that needs to be completely and utterly unpacked, right? Because we see that you guys are very confrontational outside of spaces of whiteness where you feel powerless, right? And that's part of dismantling patriarchy because patriarchy impacts you guys in a way that is so deeply interwoven and embedded in your own. Like I said, like to the second point, is that supremacy culture impacts everyone differently, but no one escapes its harm, right? Patriarchy impacts you guys in a way that does not, I don't personally feel impacts us, right? Because one, I'm not fucking and feeding my oppressor. So my husband doesn't oppress me. Like I'm not raising my oppressor, and I'm not continually perpetuating those cycles of my own oppression through raising more patriarchal men. So there's a whole lot in that, and it would do you a lot of good to unpack that and to sit down and figure out ways to have conflict within your own home and your own spaces in a way that you're safe. Always make sure that you're safe. Do-do-do-do-do-do. So knowing your own capacity and being open about it. Absolutely, Katie. Like, yeah, I'm not, it was helpful. Good. I'm so glad. Yes. Lily says, yes, same. And then this week, I called my mother a Nazi. No more fear. Go off. I guess. Yes. But and also, like, is she like? I mean, I don't know your mom. You know, she may 100% be. So again, I want us to get curious before we start name calling. Like, is she? Ask why she has certain ideas. I don't know your mother. I don't know the situation. Ask why she has certain takes, certain beliefs, get curious, and point out to her how harmful they are. Because what happens is when you guys go out there and just start calling your folks names, we still got to deal with them. We who are impacted by it the most still have to do the educating of your Nazi mother, right? So if you could do us a favor and ask mom why she has these beliefs, get her to be questioning a little bit. When we come around, she may be a little bit more open to learning instead of blaming us for her child calling her a Nazi, right? Like, all your woke agenda, my kid doesn't talk to me. Like, that is what happens, right? Where families, white families, feel like they are being split apart because of some woke agenda, because Black and Indigenous people are trying to speak about their own history, their own trauma, their own experiences. And when you guys sever your relationships with people, it just makes it work harder for us. It makes living more difficult for us because that's how they feel. What you must remember is whiteness is already the birth canal of whiteness is the alt right. So when you move away from that and you start becoming more left, more centrist, more liberal, you are breaking away from your roots and you are a race traitor. That's old school white. That's not changed. So when you guys are talking about like, oh, people voted against their best interests. Absolutely not. Those 50 something percent of white women voted along the lines of their best interests. Their best interest for generations has been adhering to patriarchy. You are the traitor. So keep that in mind when you're having these conversations with your white family and friends or relatives or what have you. For them, you are the traitor. And that's what I mean about having two truths be happening at the same time. You are betraying them because they are doing what has worked for them for generations or what they believe has worked for them for generations. And they haven't come to the awakening or the critical thinking portion that you have come to. And when you just say, fuck you, you're a Nazi, you sever them from the ability to even get to where you are because you didn't always exist where you are. So those are my thoughts. But kudos to you on having no fear because fuck fear. Tiffany says, I'm just not confrontational at all with anyone. And that's fine. I want us to like, I want to ask you a question, Tiffany. What do you call confrontational? Right? Because not confrontational at all. I need more background around that. So like if somebody like gave you the wrong order from here to here, if somebody gave you the wrong order, like I ordered pizza and I got a burger, to someone said you're a stupid bitch. Like I need to know what you mean by non-confrontational. Um because I need to understand more to answer that. Lily says, no, I need to learn. Ooh, there's a lot of comments. Healthy conflict, but she tried to excuse the gesture. Got you. Yeah, then fine. You're done. Like, you know what? I want to have this conversation. If you want to have it some more, I'm willing and I'm open. And constantly, right? Because when you think about it, again, like I said yesterday, I task white women to give white men the same grace Black women have been giving you for generations, right? So one gesture, one conversation, and then just shutting them off is a no. And I'm going to tell you what, I know that it's not just one conversation. I know that it's a lifetime of being unheard by your mother, unseen, unwitnessed. And that's fair. But then cut her off for that. Don't utilize the struggle of Black, Indigenous, Jewish people, Palestinians to be the catalyst of why you cut her off. Cut her off because she's never listened to you about anything in your life that has mattered to you. Cut her off because she refuses to see you as a whole person. Cut her off because she treats you like shit and like you're less than. But do not co-opt um, the pain, the trauma, the anger of more marginalized people for you to feel empowered to cut her off. That's going to be my pointer. Oh, thanks, Lily. I appreciate that. And keep coming back because I'm going to be here. Tiffany, oh, she came back to answer. I guess I don't know how to handle it in a healthy way. Raised to think confrontation is unhealthy. So trying to learn how to have it in a healthy way. Okay, keep coming back, Tiff, because I'm super happy to help you work through that because I'm confrontational as fuck. Like, I'm not going for it from the scale that I gave you all the way up to there. Absolutely. It's a no. It's a no for me. One of my statements is no is a complete sentence, and absolutely not is one of my favorite answers. Oh, Lily, I do see you. Okay, so we got through those comments and I'm loving that. So let's move on to part two. Well, we kind of touched on how supremacy culture impacts everyone differently, but no one escapes the harm. We kind of covered that when we were discussing all this other stuff. So I hope that that landed somewhere for your takeaway. And more will come up, obviously, when you get the replay and when I break it down with the reflections and the journal prompts in the article that comes behind it. I'm really loving Substack, like, and all that it's offered me. Third takeaway for today, and like I said, I try to respect all boundaries, and time boundaries are super important, and we're coming up to the top of our time. Awareness plus action equals transformation. So knowing the 15 pillars isn't enough, right? Dismantling them requires intentional action. Awareness is the entry point, right? Like, oh, I see that this perfectionism is coming up. I see I'm feeling defensive when someone is talking to me. Oh, that made me feel a certain type of way in my body, right? Um, but the action is the transformative force, right? So I said something, you felt activated, right? Because I try not to use triggered because it really diminishes, people that are suffering with PTSD. So I say something, you feel activated because you want to tell me that that's not true. Okay, sit with that for a second. Why do you feel that way? What are you trying to defend? What's happening with your body? Because you're telling me something about what I'm telling you about my own lived experience. So you have absolutely zero authority over that. Like, no, because you're not living in my body, my skin, or my experience, right? So what's coming up? So if you could turn around and say, oh, that was activated, I feel this here. Let me swallow, let me breathe. Where did that just come from? And why do I feel the need to defend X, Y, and Z? You will start transforming the way you communicate with people very specifically in anti-racism, anti-oppression, and liberation work. And that's super important, right? Because we spend a lot of time trying to coddle feelings and explain it. And it's like you have to work on what's coming up in your body and recognizing that. And that's how we get to transformation. Um, I gave an example here. I said you might notice power hoarding, which is one of those 15 pillars in your workplace or your community spaces. So ask yourself, how can you disrupt this by redistributing decision making or centering collaboration? We'll get further into that. I will offer more prompts. I have worksheets and all of that good stuff, right? But these are micro lessons, guys. So we are at our time. But think about that today, right? Take that away with you that awareness plus action equals transformation. If there's only one takeaway that you took this morning, is that awareness plus action equals transformation. So you are aware of the situation, right? We are aware of what's happening right now. What actionable steps can we take in order to transform and have new systems? Let me see, Tiffany. I love it. I'm thankful for the tools. In just a few days, you're helping me fill my toolbox with. I am super thrilled with that. I love that for me, for you, for us, for the collective. If you go to tools and resources and my Substack thing, I literally have like actual toolkits, worksheets, because again, I'm a journaling person, a worksheet person. You get to work that out with your family. You get to like practice empathetic listening. All of the tools and resources are there because that is my job. I just want to be a guide to help you get there, hold your hands, and like let's get to the other side of that. Hi Melissa, you just joined and we are just about leaving, but you can absolutely catch the replay. Again, these first 10 days are for everyone. And after that, it'll be for paid subscribers. But here's the kicker. 20% off for the year. It's only $80 for the year, 20% off of that. And I understand I say only, but some people don't got $64. Email me. Scholarships, DesireeBStevens.com. And I comp it the whole year. No questions asked because I'm going to trust you that you know more about your finances than I do. So I will see you guys again tomorrow. And I'm super excited. Thank you guys for showing up for me, for you, for us, and the collective. Have a great day.